The polar bear, Ursus maritimus, is more than just a large white animal of the Arctic. It is an icon of the wilderness, a master predator, and a poignant symbol of the climate crisis. Its very existence is inextricably linked to the frozen landscape of the far north, a habitat where few other large mammals can survive, let alone thrive. To understand the polar bear is to understand the intricate, fragile ecosystem of the sea ice, the icy platform that is simultaneously its hunting ground, nursery, and refuge. The polar bear is classified as a marine mammal, a designation that speaks volumes about its primary dependence on the ocean and its resources. While it is certainly capable of traversing vast stretches of tundra and land, its diet and lifestyle are overwhelmingly tied to the sea ice. This ice provides the essential surface from which it hunts its primary prey. Ringed and bearded seals. The bear waits patiently, often for hours, near a seal's breathing hole or a glue or stalk seals resting on the ice edge. This method of ambush hunting requires immense patience, stealth, and a profound understanding of the unpredictable, shifting ice environment. The caloric richness of the seal's blubber is absolutely vital for the polar bear, providing the energy reserves necessary to survive the lean seasons and the brutally cold Arctic winter. An adult male can consume the entire carcass of a large seal in one sitting, packing on the fat layer, sometimes 10 centimeters thick, that insulates it from the sub-zero temperatures of the air and water. Physiologically, the polar bear is a marvel of evolutionary adaptation to extreme cold. Its fur is not actually white, but transparent and hollow. This structure allows the sunlight to be scattered, making the bear appear brilliantly white or sometimes yellowish in the snowy landscape, offering near-perfect camouflage against the backdrop of snow and ice. Beneath this dense outer guard hair and thick undercoat, the bear possesses a layer of black skin. This dark pigmentation is highly effective at absorbing solar radiation, helping the animal retain warmth. Moreover, its enormous paws are perfectly engineered for the ice. They are large, paddle-like, and slightly webbed for swimming, with small papillae and tufts of fur on the soles that act like anti-slip treads, providing traction on slippery surfaces. Unlike its terrestrial relatives, the polar bear has a relatively elongated body and a short, thick neck, all features that aid in streamlining its movement through the water, where it can hold its breath for long periods and swim for hundreds of kilometers. The life cycle and social structure of the polar bear are as harsh and solitary as its environment. They are generally solitary animals, except for females with their cubs. Mating usually occurs on the sea ice in the late spring, and the fertilized egg undergoes a process of delayed implantation. The embryo doesn't begin to develop until the mother has retreated to a maternity den on land or thick multi-year ice in the fall. This delay is a crucial survival mechanism. It ensures the cub is born only if the mother has achieved the critical body fat threshold needed to sustain herself and her litter through the denning period. For several months, the pregnant female fasts completely, living off her stored blubber while she gives birth to typically 1 or 2, occasionally 3 tiny, helpless cubs. The maternity den is a sanctuary, a cave dug into a snowdrift, providing crucial insulation from the Arctic weather outside. The cubs, born in the deepest part of the winter, spend their first months within this snowy shelter. When they emerge in the spring, usually around March or April, they are about the size of a small dog, and their real education begins. The mother-cub bond is one of the longest in the animal kingdom, lasting for over 2 years. During this time, the cubs learn the vital skills of hunting seals, navigating the shifting ice, and understanding the subtle signs of danger in the vast, white world. The survival rate for cubs is precarious, and their extended dependence on the mother underscores the difficulty of mastering the predatory lifestyle in the Arctic. After the mother finally drives them away, they face a few years of learning and growing before reaching maturity, a time often called the survival gap. Geographically, polar bears inhabit the circumpolar Arctic region, found across Canada, the US, Alaska, Greenland, Norway, Svalbard, and Russia. Scientists have divided the global population into 19 subpopulations, each with its own specific ecological conditions and pressures. While some populations appear stable, and a very few may even be growing, the majority are facing increasing challenges and several are in decline. This variability reflects the fragmented nature of their habitat and the localized effects of climate change. The single greatest challenge facing the polar bear is the rapid, accelerating loss of its primary habitat, The Arctic sea ice. Global warming causes the ice to melt earlier in the spring and freeze later in the fall, dramatically shortening the crucial period when bears can hunt seals. Seals are only accessible from the ice platform. When the ice disappears, the hunting stops. This forces the bears to spend longer periods on land, where food is scarce and their primary energy source, blubber, is unavailable. The extended fasting period translates directly into reduced body weight, lower reproductive success, and increased cub mortality. Scientists have observed polar bears increasingly relying on energy-intensive long-distance swims to reach fragmented ice floes, further depleting their reserves. This direct cause and effect relationship, warmer planet, less ice, fewer seals, thinner bears, is the core reason the polar bear is classified as a vulnerable species. Beyond the fundamental threat of habitat loss, polar bears also face other, interconnected pressures. The increasing accessibility of the Arctic due to melting ice has brought about greater risks from human-wildlife conflict. As the sea ice retreats, bears are forced to forage closer to human settlements, leading to confrontations, particularly around communities in Alaska and Canada. Furthermore, as apex predators, they are highly susceptible to bioaccumulation of toxins. Environmental pollutants such as PCBs and heavy metals, ingested by smaller organisms and seals, concentrate at lethal levels in the polar bear's fatty tissues, compromising their immune and reproductive systems. The noise and activity associated with increased shipping and offshore oil and gas exploration in the now accessible Arctic waters also pose a continuous threat, disturbing crucial denning and foraging areas. The future of the polar bear remains a litmus test for global climate action. Their conservation story is unique because the solution is not merely local habitat protection or anti-poaching measures, but a global reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. No amount of local effort can save the species if the sea ice continues to disappear. Organizations and governments are involved in research to monitor the health and number of the 19 subpopulations, using satellite tracking and population modeling to predict how different scenarios of sea ice loss will affect the bear's survival. Polar Bear Alley in Churchill, Canada, provides a focal point for understanding the bear's seasonal movements, where thousands of tourists gather each fall to witness the bears waiting for the ice to return. This site, however, also serves as a vivid annual reminder of the bear's plight and their tenuous grip on survival. The animal is profoundly intertwined with the cultural heritage of the indigenous peoples of the Arctic, such as the Inuit, who call it Nanook. For these communities, the polar bear is a source of sustenance, a spiritual figure, and a constant companion in the ice world. Their traditional knowledge is now often integrated with scientific research to provide a more holistic understanding of the species and the accelerating changes to the environment. The polar bear, therefore, occupies a space in the modern global consciousness far larger than its imposing physical form. It is a biological sentinel, warning humanity that the foundational conditions of one of Earth's greatest biomes are fundamentally changing. Its long-term survival is directly tied to the political, economic, and ecological choices made today, making it perhaps the most visible and majestic victim of a warming world. Its survival will be a clear signal that the global community has successfully addressed the climate crisis. Its disappearance would represent a catastrophic failure with irreversible ecological consequences. The fate of the polar bear is thus a lesson in ecological consequence and global interconnectivity. The animal is a bellwether, its thinning frame and dwindling reproductive success serving as a tangible manifestation of a global energy imbalance caused by human activity hundreds or thousands of kilometers away. Its continued existence depends on a human response that is as flexible, powerful, and global as the climate change force arrayed against it. The magnificent predator of the ice compels the world to look beyond the immediate political